Hi folks, hope you're doing well. Yeah. I was just watching one of those podcasts, that whatever podcast. It is slightly interesting to watch it, especially when they have interesting characters. It's interesting to have on, before going to bed, I play solitaire on the computer and just have something in the background. And that's okay to have on in the background. Because it's a long video, 6 hours long. And because it's 6 hours long, it means that it's good to have on in the background when I'm not really wanting to focus on anything like that. But there was one character in it this time, and this young lady, she's had an experience in life. That's a certainty. And she's one of the bigger characters in this episode by a long way. And just last night I was laying in bed after watching some of it and thinking it'd be such fun to have her next to me on my journey, because her personality is massive. It would just be such fun. But as I say, watch it. It was Sunday's episode, the whatever podcast, and she comes across. She's someone who does OnlyFans, and so that isn't good. She sleeps with men and women. In the thing, it's described. The episode basically says she slept with a platoon. That's describing her. So again, not good. But all the way through, she's saying, that was me then, and I've got a lot to work with in my life. I've got a lot of things to sort out. But she just seems so bright and so on the ball. And it's like, even though she's making decisions right now that are making her life more difficult, possibly for the future, you can see that she has personality. And one person actually sent in a super chat just saying, I wouldn't date you, but at a party you'd be such fun to have around. And it's so true, because even though she comes across as damaged, she doesn't really come across as damaged. This is the same episode as the lady who is, I think I mentioned her in the previous one, where she had gone to church looking for a husband, and in one church all the men were too old, in the next church all the men were too young, and she gave up on men, gave up on God. Well, she's in the same episode where she is clearly broken. You can see she's clearly broken, this woman. And that character Chase is on this episode, the so-called Christian one. And again, he's where he is. He's very churchy, and he's trying to minister to this woman. But as I say, if you listen to that lady, the one who's broken, you can hear her truth, and you can hear her being honest about the pain that she's feeling, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's hard because she's nearly in tears, she's nearly breaking down while she's speaking on occasion, but beautiful all the same. And so it's strange, isn't it? Because these two ladies, one is 21, one who says she's 36. I think she's older. Sent in the chat pretty awful to her. Saying she looks like she's in her 60s, and when they do a mark out of 10 for looks, they give her a 2. And you can tell she's wincing a bit when she's reading this stuff, and it's like, okay. That's harsh, but there you go. Is what it is. Yeah. I said a 21-year-old and her. Yeah, similar lives. Yeah, similar decision making in them. Yeah, one coming towards the end of her sexual freedom because she's coming towards the end of her attractiveness to the men she was looking at. Even she says she's maybe got another 2 years of that, of being sexually wild and having all the playmates that she can get, sort of thing. And there's the other one who's 21, who's right in it, and who at 18 was having all these playmates and all that sort of stuff. And the difference is, one is utterly broken by it, and the other one is very joyful. And yeah, it is quite interesting when you look at people that go through the same stuff. Yeah, it can crush one person, and the other person can just go through it. Because it's down to personality, isn't it? It's down to the personality you have. And yeah. But yeah. So, anyway. All fun and games. Well, normally on that channel, whatever, they normally have 4 or 5 or even 6 OnlyFans girls, and the OnlyFans girls are normally quite shallow, very, very shallow, and only go on to talk about OnlyFans and to promote their channel. Whereas on this one, I think there's 2 that do OnlyFans, and both of them are far brighter, far more engaging, far more normal. Yeah, both of them very, very beautiful, very. And I'm not talking about looks, I'm talking about their nature. Their nature seems very beautiful. And that is not the normal, really, for OnlyFans. Because normally it's, hypersexual. The OnlyFans girls. Hypersexual. Yeah, or trying to be like Barbie girl. That sort of stuff. Whereas with these two, no. No, these two seem to have their heads screwed on. Although, how can you have your head screwed on when you're doing OnlyFans? Well, that's the point. Yeah, you can, clearly. And it made me think about, I did a video speaking about the near-death experience where that woman was talking about the fact that she had been using drugs, and her life had been horrendous up until the point of her near death, and she had found out in her near death that that was only one stage. That stage was due to end, and she was due to come into a more beautiful stage. And that's what I was getting from these 2 girls, is that there's certainly a lot of potential with both of them to come out of that. And generally speaking, the men in that always say that they wouldn't date someone who does OnlyFans, and I always thought the same. But when I then looked at those 2, I thought, well, the problem is, I wouldn't necessarily say absolutely no to someone who's done that. It would depend upon who they were and where they are, because that's the point. You don't judge someone based upon their past, and you'd ask God to deal with all that in them. You'd expect that God would have done that, and even for them to be a virgin again is something you can ask God to do, to deal with that. But simply looking at the personalities and looking at who these 2 young ladies were, is that okay? Not all of them are airheads. Some are, but not all of them. Some of them have got some depth there. Some of them, go a bit deeper and can't have an intelligent conversation and yet they do have a personality. So it's like, but that's the point. We judge people, and we judge people based upon things like that. And yeah, it's good to see sometimes that there are people that break the mold. And say in that one episode, there's some very interesting characters on it. Usually with that channel, it's pretty boring. Usually I don't bother to actually watch it. I just have it on in the background, as I said. But on this one I've watched more of it because it seems more interesting. Because, as I say, the older lady, her honesty, that's not something you see every day. And the way people are trying to help her, and the way they're then talking, and the way they're then challenging the way they're talking is interesting. So today, on this one, I think they've done better. On this one episode, I think they seem to have the right characters there to produce a better episode. But it's 6 hours long. I think I've had it up there since Wednesday. I've been sort of watching bits of it since Wednesday. Well, I'm not going to sit and watch it for 6 hours. No. And live? No, because I think it probably starts at my time around about 4 in the morning. And so, I'm not going to do that. No. But so it's good to see sometimes where you've got some more interesting ones. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.